fender benders, just enough to keep commuters stressed behind the wheel. Not to mention that 34% of drivers spend 45 minutes or more in their cars each way to work. Dr. Kathleen Hall, founder of the Stress Institute, says you can transform your stressful commute into an oasis of serenity. And she joins us now. Doctor, thank you very much for being here with us. When we talked about this backup on the Beltway the first time, we were saying 90-minute delays, people just sitting there down in one lane. When you have something like that, you can't get out.
Exactly.
There's no way you can do. What does that kind of stress do to the body?
It has very catastrophic effects. We produce adrenaline at first, and then we produce cortisol. And what it does, it increases our blood pressure, increases our heart rate, it decreases our immune system. So by the time we get to work, our blood pressure is up, our heart rate is up, our immune system stinks, so that anybody that you come in contact with, your chances of getting it are much higher.
So the spillover effect is all over the place.
Right, exactly, Andrea. Your memory's short, you're aggressive, you're angry, and you have a lack of productivity. It usually takes you a couple hours to get over it.
So that's going to work.
That's going to work, and then coming home, you're taking it home to your family. The average American commutes, we commute 3.7 billion hours a year in America. To the cost of individual families, not including tolls or anything, $5,000 a year is what it costs you, minimally, to commute.
Do women react differently than men?
And we have some seminal studies that we have just been recently released where women have about 4 to 5 times as much reaction to the commuter stress as men do, which is horrible. So we really need to take this very, very seriously. As a matter of fact, Andrea, if you commute, like you said, 45 minutes to 45 minutes back, that's an hour and a half. So that's 7.5 hours a week. That's a work day.
Wow.
And that ends up to 6 weeks a year we spend in our car, in a bus, or on a train. So my point is, would you rather sit there and be destroying your mind, body, and your soul, and everything about you?
I can say no.
Or do you want to use that, take a choice, and be proactive and plan, and use it as your self-care time?
Be productive. So everyone's saying, okay, what's the key to having this serene oasis? You say start in the classroom.
I say start in the classroom. And make your commute a classroom. Lots of us who've had kids and survived having big families and everything, the only time you have alone, think about it, is in that commute. You get to work and you're busy again. So take that as your self-care time. As a classroom, read a book on tape. Lots of people like myself, and you probably are so busy, everybody says, have you read this? Have you read that? Well, no, you don't have time. We know that people that succeed and go up in the corporate ladder know about books like Blink or different kinds of business books. Another thing you can do, learn another language. The Hispanic population is growing in our country. If you don't know Spanish, you will not go up very far in any corporation. Get into it now. Learn a language. Another thing, a lot of people are changing their careers midlife. Learn about another career. Books on tapes, you can learn about all these kinds of things.
Counseling center.
You can use it as a counseling center. Through my 20 years of counseling people, a lot of people have anger issues. They have relationship issues, issues with their children. They're phobic. They have whatever. You can get any kind of book on tape you want.
All right, I like concert hall.
Concert hall. If you just listen to music, your serotonin level...
Soothes the savage beast.
It actually does soothe the savage beast. Your serotonin level increases incredibly. But if you start to sing with that too, you have an immunoglobulin boost, your immune system boosts 240%.
That sounds good. Chapel.
And a chapel, how many of us have a time to meditate or pray on our work before we leave for work or even when we get home? You can do that in your car, you can do it on a bus or on a train. Better on a bus and a train, meaning you can put on guided imagery tapes, you can do deep breathing, you can relax, and what that does is release your, it slows down your heart rate, slows down your breathing, increases your immune system.
Now, these are not rosary beads that you have here with you, but
no, as a matter of fact, I have created resources. Yes, over 20 years created products or resources for my clients and patients. For an example, this is an hourglass, but it's exactly 1 deep inhalation and 1 deep exhalation. And I tell people I keep mine on my gear shift, I keep it in my ashtray, and a lot of my corporate clients keep it in their pocket.
All right, and there's one last thing before we go, Comedy Club.
Comedy Club. Do you know that when you laugh, your artery diameter increases 22%? When you're stressed on that commute, it decreases 35%. 1 in 12 heart attacks are directly related to traffic. Wow. Andrea, do you know that we just did a study on commuters, and there is actually more stress when you commute than a fighter pilot in battle or riot police actually in training exercises. So this is very serious. We also have some new telomere studies of chromosomes that show that when you commute and are chronically stressed, it can actually decrease your longevity 10 years and age you 10 years.
You're killing yourself if you stress out, but there are ways,
Absolutely.
as you just told us, to create that serene oasis. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Yes, create a plan and go for it.
Very good.
Thanks.
Well, creating a plan, Rafael Pomero returns to the dugout tonight in Baltimore, but will he be met with cheers or jeers? We'll tell you about the Sluggers' return next. But first, we will treat you to some sounds of